what y'all doing? What y'all doing? Get in here. I was like, let me just put my shades on my head because it's a chill Saturday. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Kicking It with Key TV. I'm your girl Kiara C. Hope. You already know your style and feel good provider. If you love things, all things motivation, travel, lifestyle, fashion, join me on this journey of building this channel. Baby, we're home, we're relaxed, not traveling. I just dropped a travel vlog where I hit up 3 cities in 2 weeks, and I don't feel like doing a damn thing. I said it's Memorial Day weekend, we gonna stay inside, okay? Gone are the days of feeling like we need to be outside for every single thing. Before we start, hold on, because I shared a drink with y'all. This is called the Peach Pino. Thank you, Tarjay. I love, first of all, that bottle's $9 from Tarjay. Get you some frozen fruit. I chose peach because I love summer fruits. I love peaches, plums, all them good things. Get you some cold Pinot. And then if it's frozen, it's already going to make your wine chill. Cheers, darling. It's the weekend. We finna celebrate Memorial Day in our house. Okay? My sunset room. I'm not gonna lie, a girlfriend of mine, she came to my home and she was like, your home reminds me of a sunset. And I'm like, yeah, because I love the sunsets. I love the moods. Like, I'm really weird. Like, well, not weird in that way, but I love sunsets. I love like a very mellow vibe home. Like, I don't like bright lights. Like, if I have to endure it, of course, but I'm like, give me the mellow, give me, you know, just a vibe. So this is just the sunset vibe, and we're going to get into the first segment of Let's Talk About It. So if you haven't tuned into my travel vlog, my recent vlog that I dropped where I went to DC, Baltimore, and New York, maybe 2 weeks filled with content creation, meeting up with the fashion girlies, seeing my beautiful family, and then going to New York to help my good friend find her wedding dress. And in the midst of that, losing my job. Let me get my weave together because life will do it to you. So I really want to just touch on trusting the journey, and also just have you guys get to know more about me as you tune into my vlog. Of course, they're going to be different, but I want you to know and get to know me at the same light. Just to start with just my past career, I've worked in tech for about 5 to 6 years. I'm pretty much working my way up from customer service to product specialist to implementation specialist, all the way up to a data analyst. I have been through the ups and downs. I have been with the rise of startups. You know, I've spent some time at WeWork, and I was there at the prime time of WeWork. Spent 4 years there, worked throughout the pandemic, hit employee burnout where I had to tell myself, I gotta go, I gotta leave. Took some time off and really just tried to understand what was next for me. Went back into the tech realm. I feel like when I started working in tech, it was like the booming of tech. Like, you wanted to get in. At the time I lived in New York, so I would go to like, after work, I would go to like Galvanize, had like quick meetups, different workshops. I would go to the Google building. They would have workshops and stuff. I learned how to code. I was like, yeah, baby, that is not for me. Tried to do front end, back end work. Just trying to find my rhythm in tech, because nowadays you may hear everybody's like, I want to get into tech, I want to get into tech. Baby, what do you want to do when it comes to being in tech, okay? Because tech is so broad, and now the job market, it is so competitive. This was in that realm of just finding my way, and customer service came easy and natural to me, and I'm always just like proactive. Let's climb up the ladder. So after my break, I then found myself at another company as an implementation specialist. Ooh, darling, it wasn't bad. I just still was like, I wasn't in love. I wasn't in love with the position, long story short, but I still pushed myself. I'm the type of person, like, you know how there's some people, like, if you give them like a week or two and they realize, oh baby, this ain't for me, and they out. I am opposite of that. I am more like, I'm gonna ride it out. I'm gonna ride this wave out, because I understand, like, in the beginning of a job, it's not always gonna be easy. The learning, the progression is not going to be easy. So I'm pretty much more like, let me ride it out. Maybe I rode that wave out so long, I started getting more gray hair. So I got laid off from that one. And in the midst of that, Your girl believes in being overemployed, so I had another job position. So it kind of like overlapped where I had got laid off from that tech job, and then the other one, which was my most recent one, it kind of worked out perfect. Stayed there for 2 years, and towards the end of last year, I told myself, you know what, Key, this was a contractual position. If you work in tech, then you know that a lot of companies prefer to hire employees as contractors, and that was new for me. And it was so new for me, the transition. Maybe let me drink, because peach Pinot, that's where it's at. The transition was a lot for me. I'm used to positions like the previous position. I was unlimited PTO, and as a contractor with some companies, you take a day off, you're not getting paid. It just wasn't the best. It was a big prominent company. Like, this is when I say, like, and I don't want to get sidetracked, because a lot of people fall for the names of these tech companies, and sometimes maybe that's not even half of what you're about to deal with, just because it looks good on your resume. Big firm, a big accounting firm I was working at in the IT realm as a data analyst, and I hated it. I completely hated it. But I still stuck it out. You know, times is hard when you living alone, single woman up in expensive ass Atlanta, Georgia. You just gotta write it out. You gotta do what you gotta do until you find something. Top of the year hit, and I knew for sure, like, I had just had moments where I would, like, this was also my first time having a recruiter, so I had never experienced a recruiter. Shouts out to him. He was really helpful throughout this whole journey for me. And I texted him one day, and I just had it. I was like, yo, I'm ready to call. I'm ready to quit right now. Like, I am good. I don't need to be doing this. And he was like, Kiara, like, I just really want you to find something first. So essentially my contract, depending on every recruiter agency, is different. Some teams will have you contracted for 6 months. Some teams will have you contracted for 2 to 3 months. I had made it for the 2 years, so they always kept me on. And then I knew that this year, June, would have made my last month with the company. And I had said in my spirit, God, I'm okay if this ends. I am okay for this to end, because I know that I'm done. I am done. And I put that out to the universe, and then I had texted him. And then one thing I try to do is, like, not text you out of frustration, but I was so fed up. In your career, I think for me, what I think of is, am I stagnant? And once I feel stagnant energy and I'm not growing and we're doing the same thing, and somebody wants you to pull stuff out of your head when work isn't going, like work isn't flowing, and people just want you to work, it creates an atmosphere where you are just like, what am I doing here? How am I growing for myself? You know, times are different now. Like, these companies need you. You are the value. And once you understand that, you need to take a step back and ask yourself, am I really growing from this position? And I asked myself that, and I knew I wasn't. So I remember having a one-on-one with my manager. A one-on-one, if you don't know, pretty much like a weekly check-in. Mind you, baby, we had stopped the one-on-ones for months. That's how non-serious to me these people were. And I remember having our one-on-one, and this is that accountability moment that I like to talk about, because as a human being, your integrity, if you understand that somebody is asking you to pull things out of the bag, and you're like, but ain't nothing in the bag to pull. It's kind of like somebody's just like, I want you to make up work to have work because you're a contractor and I need you working. It's bizarre to me. It was just bizarre. And I will never forget this comment that they made, you know, I feel like you aren't technical enough. And I said, for me to be here for 2 years, how am I not technical enough? I said, could you elaborate on that? And they said, you know, if I were to rate you from a 1 to 5, I would give you a 2. Let me get my weave. I need my weave, because professional Kiara had to stay in the game, had to just listen, and then Baltimore/Brooklyn Kiara wanted to, like, curse that person out. And some people are going to say things, and you also need to learn how to take constructive criticism. But I think in that delivery, that was like the ultimate disrespect, that it did affect me, but it took me to a place where it's kind of like a person that is telling you you're not suitable and I don't believe in you, but I still want you to put 100%. Where they do that at? I'll wait. I want y'all to comment below where they do that at. And even if you made it this far, just write where they do that at. Because the moment that us as humans, we are just diminished, we feel belittled, there is no way that I know that we know how to give you 100% at that point, because you just shut us down. You get what I mean? And that's what occurred. So it was a mixture of that comment that was just like the icing on the cake, and then just my feelings just already happening, like, yo, cut it loose. So I said, God, oh baby God, I know it's gonna happen soon. I don't know when. I don't know when I'm gonna cut the loose, when they're gonna cut the loose, but I'm gonna ride it out so they say it to me first. Fast forward to my 2 weeks, my vlog, my traveling. I was still working. I'm always still working because I have to work. Mama take off. Mama don't get a coin. So we're gonna put that work in while I'm traveling. So now, full circle moment. The day comes where I don't know that it's the day, and I do have a podcast. Follow I'll Have a Cup podcast. We have a YouTube channel, and we are also on Spotify and Apple and Google playlists. And my co-host, we shoot virtually, right? And she's based in Kentucky, and I was in Baltimore at the time with the family, but my MacBook, my charger pretty much died on me, and I didn't know. I'm like, you know what? Let me just go on my work computer. We'll use StreamYard. It should be fine. Baby, mind you, shouts out to Politics and Fashion. I watch her a lot. For this specific episode that we were going to shoot was about influencing, and I was looking at Politics and Fashion's video on my work computer. But at the time, you know, I noticed that the computer just shut down. I was like, well, damn, is it in sleep mode? Because I don't know, that's kind of different. I literally pays it no mind. So now she's like, I was like, you know what, let me just log in. And it says, your account is disabled. And I'm like, Larissa, shout out to my sis, Larissa. She's like, just try to restart it. Because you know, sometimes you could be like logging in or there's an issue, you don't know. So for some odd reason, we want to restart a computer when it's pretty much in our face telling us what's going on. I don't know why we want to restart, but I restarted. And I'm like, it's not working. It is saying that my account is disabled. And she's like, that is so weird. So my laptop's here, my phone's here, and in the midst of that, I'm getting a phone call. And I know this specific city is from this recruiting agency. And I said, it's about to happen. Literally. Like, we need to get so tuned in and tapped in with energies and just people and just the corporate life and not being in denial. I said, I love Larissa so much. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to mute you, because I could have easily muted her while I was about to be humiliated. And I said, listen. And he says, hey, Kiara, you know, just want to let you know that they decided to cut your contract effective today. And her jaw drops, but mine doesn't. I'm not oblivious to it. When you prep yourself for what's to come, you don't know what the journey will look like, but you know that you're not in denial about your feelings. And that's how I truly live my life. Like, sometimes it could be overwhelming for me because I'm always thinking 2 steps ahead all of the time, but I never want to be blindsided. So the phone call wasn't anything that that surprised me or shocked me. I just didn't know when it was going to happen. I don't know if it was a trigger moment, but when this person said, you know, they said it was due to budget cuts, I said, let me stop you right there. Let's go back to the conversation that we just had. I said it's not due to budget cuts. You don't have to lie to me. Because one thing, if I'm not talking in these meetings, I'm listening, I'm paying attention to what you're saying. You're saying that there's more stuff coming down the pipeline, blase, blase, blase. That means people are paying for the service. That means that you have the money for the contractors, but you don't want this contractor, which is fine, baby. I said it's not about budgets. It is about the team culture. And I broke down, I never specified the conversation that I had with this person, but I did speak to my other recruiter, and the way that recruiter handled it, he immediately apologized to me. He said, I'm so sorry that you experienced that. And that wholeheartedly like touched my heart, because I needed to hear that at that time. I didn't really care for this person to like break it down, but I said what I needed to say about this team is the worst that I've ever worked on. Like, and I want y'all to answer this too, like drop a comment below. Like, you ever just notice like you are such a people's person and then your team is like blood sucking, just dry people? When you're not a dry person, like, and dry people all around you, it sucks the life out of you. It sucks the life out of you. Oh, peach is good. I caught them by surprise. You wanna catch me by surprise? I'm gonna catch you by surprise as well. Caught them by surprise, and they were like, I wasn't aware of that. Because when you're not in the room, you will never understand what someone is saying about you. But what you catch on to is the things that they are saying when you are in the room, and how they're saying it, and just subliminal messages. Y'all gotta stay on y'all tippy toes out in these corporate streets, okay? I was like, I'm not oblivious to it. I'm okay. It's all good. I said it's a sense of relief. Honestly, it's a sense of relief. Because where we were going, it was starting to make me feel as if, and if you watch that video where it's called I Quit, where I was feeling where I was ready to leave WeWork. And when I start feeling that energy, no. I can't do it again. You can't do it again. We can't do it again. And I know a lot of the times fear of the unknown keeps us at jobs that no longer serves us, but I was okay. I was okay to say, don't get me wrong, I'm not prepared for this next journey. We'll get into that, but I just knew in my spirit I'm going down mentally, and if I continue this, I'm hurting myself. So with that being said, I said thank you for the opportunity. I am ready to move on. I'm ready to just do something different. It's all good. We just, again, ended the call and moved on. Mind you, Bree is on the phone during this entire time, girl. She is on the phone the entire time. She like, King. And I'm like, it's all good. Like, what you gonna cry for? You don't need to be crying off of something, off of spoiled milk that you knew that was spoiled. You just brace yourself for that moment because you know what's coming. And again, this literally story that I just shared is on the podcast, the I'll Have a Cup podcast out. And I just feel like I've always said this, like I'm a vessel that's here to just show people like the real, because I've seen a lot of fake. I live in Atlanta. Okay? But your story is your story, and what's real is real. And to me, the most important thing is keeping your integrity at an all-time high, but also not being in denial, taking accountability. I said I cannot function correctly because somebody blatantly told me they didn't believe in me. They didn't believe in my work. They didn't really. So you think I'm gonna go hard for you? You think I'm gonna write these data reports? You think I'm gonna work on this Excel sheet? You're mad. That happened before New York, and you see a snippet of it, so I never really got into it. This is the following Saturday of me coming back from my trip, and this whole week I haven't worked. I don't have a job, but it's also been a reassuring week of why we need to trust our journeys, trust the journey. And this is what I want to talk about today. But I want to just give 3 things that are on my heart on what trusting your journey looks like. Lego. So this full week has been a week where I haven't worked. At first, because I didn't cry, I didn't pout, because I was aware of what was going on. I just was like, after my New York trip, God, when I get back home to the A, that is really where it's time to just process and think about what is coming next. I really processed this week, and I thought to myself, man, Key, you didn't wake up with like anxiety. You didn't wake up with dreading the thought of having to go to a meeting that you don't want to be a part of, or talking to people that you know can care less about you. I did have friends and family that I can count on. I did have 2 to 3 interviews. I felt so calm and still in my realm that it felt like that was the right move for me, and why I had to understand to trust my journey. And I wrote down 3 things. I wrote down, because I've been writing. Now that I got time, I can write on what to do when what that looks like with trusting your journey, because I understand that it's not easy. Like, let me just say, I don't know what's about to happen next week. I don't know what's about to happen next month. This life is not a game, and when you feel like it's just you and only you that you can depend on, and that shit hits differently. This is just the first week. God is handling the rest, and I truly believe that God is like, what are you going to do when something comes up? What are you doing in the meantime? What are you doing during this time? So I've still been working out. I've still been having a morning routine, getting up. If I'm getting up after 8 o'clock, I'm like, wake up, you know, do not get comfortable. Do not get comfortable. But it felt good to just be like, oh, I ain't gotta talk to these people. So what does trusting your journey look like? For the first one, do I need some glasses? Limit distractions. As soon as I touched down from my last New York trip, I literally deleted Instagram and deleted TikTok. Me not care about the data, whatever gonna happen. When your life is in the motion of understanding that you need to be still and being obedient, those type of distractions right now, I have no rhythm or to beat myself up to create content that makes no sense in my life right now. Before it did, you know, I can consume, I can produce, but baby, these bills got to be paid. Baby, we need to focus on getting an income, and you know, hopefully with, you know, this will also be another stream. But limit the distractions, so that way you can listen to what your stillness looks like, and also what that means to being obedient. What is something, even if you need to get off of YouTube? My sister, shout out to my sister Stacey Lavis, she was in my last vlog. She's like, I'm getting off of YouTube for a month. Because sometimes we OD on YouTube as well. It's just not Instagram, or it's just not Facebook. So limit the distractions. I wrote that down because I've been at peace. And what does peace look like for me this week? Working out, still getting up early, still eating healthy, not trying to emotionally eat. Setting time for understanding where, if you're a creator, not if you're a creator, because I believe everyone is a creator, but what type of content are you creating? Can you take a step back and just think to, like, what does content look like for you in the future? You know, that's why I've been here. I'm just like, let me just go back on YouTube. Let me really focus on YouTube. I just want one thing, one step at a time, one pace, one thing. The goal is just to build consistency, and what sticks will stick, you know? So not stressing yourself in a time that already feels low-key like it can be stressful, because you don't know what your next move is going to look like. So limit that thing, that first thing that came to your head. I always say that in my videos. When somebody says something and you can relate, that first thought that comes to your head, limit that. You know what it is. I know what mine's were. Take a look back on your life. This is also a reflection time. This is a reflection time. Grand scheme of things. All right, boom, I'm gonna break it down to y'all. I have 2 great girlfriends that I met here in Atlanta. One has a great job. It requires a lot of travel, but the salary is maybe half of what I was making working in tech. Another one, another great job, but pretty much making double the salary that I was making. During this time of just processing without working and what occurred, I really had to take a look back at my previous roles. What have I been doing? How have I been moving? What have I been feeling in previous roles? And I said to myself, man, I don't want to move in the lack of. And when I speak of a lack of mindset to me, and I would love for y'all to define what a lack of mindset means for you. That means to me, moving off of just fear because you just need to pay these bills, you need to move, you need a job, and the lack of, I don't have that much faith in something that I don't know, so I'm just gonna move and get this job that I do not like because I got the check. And I am so burnt out of that lack of mindset. Because sometimes the lack of mindset will take you somewhere where you don't want to be. The road in the beginning is always peachy clean. And I get it. Everybody understands needs stability. But at what point, at what cost do you ask yourself, it's not even about the money. It's like, I'm feeling sick. I'm feeling irritated. I'm irritable. I don't want to talk about this. I don't enjoy this work. At what point do you ask yourself that? These two jobs, baby, I was considering the one that was less than the money, because I've been like, these past two job positions have been me moving in the lack of mindset where I have genuinely not been happy. And I'm a person that, if you watch my previous vlog, I share an sentiment story that if I don't follow my happiness at this age, at this big age, what am I doing? Am I just chasing an idea? Am I chasing what it's supposed to be? Like, can I just add more faith? Why am I not adding more faith and just gun-hoing what feels right instead of what is right? So take a look back at your work career of different jobs that you've had, and really process what was the mindset that you had at that point. I've researched like taking a pay cut. What does that look like? That's shifting your whole life. And if it's okay, if you're okay with that, sometimes we have to start over. Sometimes we have to start over for that major comeback. I believe in that. I believe in that. So number 2 is take a look back. Number 3, and this one is serious, and this one is the epitome of why you're watching this vlog. Keep going despite the trial and error. Drops the mic. I was just watching on the Sherry Shepherd show, and Sally Raphael, she's a OG of co-host of TV show host. The titles read that she had been fired 27 times. 27 times. It's crazy how YouTube will bring you towards videos that align with what you're going in life. That shit crazy. Like, I can't believe it. She said that, yeah, she got fired 27 times, and she gave herself 3 days to process. 3 days to process just the feelings, emotions. It is so natural to feel all of your feels when you get fired. Nobody wants to get fired. Nobody wants to feel that. I am not invincible. I have feelings, but I had already tapped into my feelings beforehand, and I was ready. I was prepared. And this is why I don't want you to ever be in denial, and why you have to raise that wisdom up, right? She said, I gave myself 3 days. 3 days to process, and you keep going. And that hit me so hard. That hit me so hard because I'm processing, I'm home, and I'm thinking, but I'm also like relieved, but I'm also like, God, I don't know what's next. So I say that to say, you're going to feel your feels. We're going to have trials and tribulations. But promise me that you're going to keep going. Promise me that when you look back at your life and you realize, I have overcame so many trials and tribulations, that this one thing that never really was for me, and now that I had the realization that it wasn't for me, it's not going to hold me down. Keep going. Keep going. Learn about yourself. Read. I've went back to reading The Alchemist again, one of my favorite books. So I'm reading it for a second time because, kind of like the 4 Agreements, The Alchemist is like, it hits different on the phase of your life. So read, listen to a podcast if you want to listen to I'll Have a Cup. But in all seriousness, like, keep going and don't stop. It is getting dark in here. I need my light. I'm gonna run through these 3 things again. There are 3 things you need to do to trust your journey. This is what you're doing to trust your journey, to have faith, to build that faith, and understand that the trials and tribulations that we will face is not going to stop us. The first one is limit the distractions. To limit the distractions, to focus on you. Number 2, take a look back. Take a look back at your life. You're here, you made it through other things. Shit, maybe through worse things, okay? I know I have. Take a look back at your life, process, reflect, take that time you need. And then number 3, you keep going, you get up, You get up and you keep going and allow God to do what is meant for you to do in your life, because one thing's for sure, what's meant for you will come for you, and it won't miss you, it won't pass you, baby. So that is my let's talk about it. Cheers. God is good. We're gonna make it through. It's all good. It's always all good. So if you would like to see another video like this, let me know what about. If you have any questions, Peach Pino on deck. Love you all. Thanks you all for watching this good processing, good reflection, and I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.